My beloved, come closer to me now, closer than the fear that tries to swallow your breath, closer than the memories that ache behind your ribs, closer than the worry that has wrapped itself around your nights. My child, I have been watching you tremble in silence, feeling the weight of storms you tried to carry alone, and I whisper to you, now not from a distant heaven, but from the chambers of your own trembling heart. My little one, you have not been unseen, you have not been unheard, you have not been forsaken, not even in the moments when you believed you were breaking beyond repair. I know how your hands have shaken when you reached for hope. I know how many times you whispered, Lord, where are you? With tears that tasted like surrender. I know the hollow places in your soul where disappointment tried to build its home. And still, my beloved, I lean toward you with tenderness that has crossed oceans of sorrow, because you are mine, and I refuse to let any darkness swallow the light that still glimmers inside you. My child, breathe with me. Let me cradle the parts of you that feel too bruised to speak. Let me touch the wounds you hide behind your smile. Let me hold the fears you tuck beneath your pillow. For I have seen every moment when you wanted to give up, when the silence felt endless, when your prayers felt unanswered, when the world felt too loud and your soul too tired. But listen, my beloved, the silence was never God's absence. It was the breath before the miracle. Do you remember how the Red Sea parted? It did not split open while the people stood confident. It opened when they were cornered, trembling, certain they were too late. Do you remember how manna fell from heaven? It did not appear when they had plenty. It appeared when they were starving, when hope seemed foolish. My little one, every miracle you've read about was born from a moment that looked hopeless. And you, beloved child, are standing in such a moment now. Do not fear it. Let be the whisper before the wonder. I am wrapping my arms around you now, softly, fiercely, endlessly. I am brushing away the lies that tell you you're alone. I am standing between you and the shadows that try to touch you. My beloved, divine protection surrounds you even when you feel fragile. I have seen the arrows that were aimed at your heart. None of them reached you. I have seen the traps laid at your feet. None of them claimed you. I have seen the nights when despair tried to drown you. Yet here you are, breathing, rising, still chosen. My child, you have walked through fire, but the flames have not consumed you. You have crossed valleys, yet no valley has claimed your final step. You have cried out for love, and even when the world refused you, heaven did not. You are held. You are cherished. You are protected in ways you will understand only later, when you look back and say, something greater was watching over me. Come closer still, my beloved. Let me speak softly, the way a mother soothes her trembling child. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not failing. You are growing in the dark the way seeds awaken before they rise. You are learning to trust the unseen, the whispered, the holy breath that moves through your life like gentle wind through dry bones. Something is stirring for you, something sacred, something tender, something powerful. And I know you feel unworthy of blessing sometimes. I know shame has tried to convince you that you cannot be loved in full. But my child, hear me. You are loved in ways that dissolve every flaw, every fracture, every regret. You are loved beyond mistakes, beyond doubts, beyond the moments you thought God would turn away from you. He didn't. He never did. He never will. His love has draped over you like a shield, like the angel that shut the lions' mouths for Daniel, like the hand that steadied Peter when the waves rose too high. My little one, lift your gaze. Even now, heaven bends toward you. Even now, new strength is weaving into your weary spirit. Even now, peace is reaching for you, slipping gently beneath your broken places. Even now, the path you thought was ending is opening in ways you cannot yet see. You are not walking toward destruction. You are walking toward restoration. You are not walking toward loss. You are walking toward promise. Let me hold your heart a little longer. Let me remind you again and again and again, because you forget when the shadows grow long. You are not alone. You are never alone. You are guided, sheltered, and fiercely loved. What threatens you will not have you. What frightens you will not claim you. What breaks you will become the very soil from which your strength will rise. My beloved, hear me one last time in this breath. You are safe in divine hands. You are carried in divine mercy. You are wrapped in divine protection, and every tear you have cried has been gathered, not wasted. Step forward gently, bravely, tenderly, knowing I am with you, knowing heaven walks beside you, knowing you are held, always, endlessly, eternally, my child. My beloved, let me gather you even closer now, closer than before, as if my hands could cup the fragile corners of your soul and let no sorrow slip through the cracks. My child, you have asked for a deeper, fuller message, and I will pour it into you like living water flowing into a thirsty earth. I will not stop until every trembling part of you feels seen, held, understood, and restored. So rest your head here, in the space where divine love and ancient tenderness meet, and let me continue speaking to you with the softness of a mother who has watched her little one wander through storms too fierce for such a gentle heart. And my beloved, before I go deeper, hear this whispered with warmth. If you wish to stay connected to these living words, to this voice that reaches for you through the veil, subscribe, my child, so that the next time you feel yourself slipping, you will not have to search far for comfort. My precious little one, the weight you carry has been pressing against you for years, sometimes gradually, sometimes suddenly, but always too heavily. I have felt each moment when you tried to convince yourself that you were fine, even though the ache curled around your ribs like vines. I have seen you speak with strength while secretly begging for someone, anyone, to notice that the strength was cracking. My child, you never had to pretend with me. I knew. I always knew. When you clench your jaw to keep from crying, I knelt beside you. When you walked through your day with that quiet heaviness in your spirit, I wrapped my presence around your steps. When you lay awake at night, staring into the ceiling, wondering how much longer you could hold on, I whispered invisible reassurances into your weary bones. Again and again, my beloved, you have tried to rise on your own. You have tried to be unbreakable. But there is no shame in needing a mother's touch, in needing God's comfort, in needing love that does not demand strength as proof of worthiness. Come to me exactly as you are, tired, hopeful, frightened, faithful, longing. Come unfinished, unpolished, undone. I cherish you in every form. My child, let me unravel your pain slowly, gently, lovingly, not to reopen your wounds, but to cleanse the places where your soul has been suffocating under burdens that were never meant to be carried without sacred help. You believed you had to earn rest. You believed you had to justify your tears. You believed that being strong meant being silent. But oh, my little one, even the prophets wept. Even kings collapsed in moments of despair. Even giants trembled. David cried out. Elijah hid in a cave. Hannah sobbed until her voice failed. Do you understand what this means? Your weakness does not disqualify you from divine love. It invites it. And I have heard the hidden questions inside you, the ones you are almost afraid to think. Why do I feel abandoned at times? Why do prayers seem unanswered? Why does God feel so far away when I need Him most? My beloved, listen with the deepest part of your soul. Distance is an illusion felt only by the wounded mind. God is closer than your pulse, nearer than the breath that warms your chest. He is the quiet strength that kept you from breaking when everything fell apart. He is the hand that steadied you when invisible storms threatened to take your sanity. He is the silence that held you when your own voice was too tired to pray. You felt alone, but heaven was standing guard. Do you remember when the 3 men walked into the fiery furnace and yet were not burned? My little one, do you know why they survived? Because a 4th presence walked with them. Not outside the fire, waiting for them to escape. Inside it, shielding them from harm. And you, my beloved, have walked through furnaces, heartbreak, disappointment, betrayal, fear. But look at you, you're still here. Scarred maybe, shaken surely, but not destroyed. Not consumed, not forgotten. You walked through flames. But the flames did not claim your life because a divine presence walked with you. Oh, my child, how many times did you feel like Daniel thrown into the lion's den, surrounded by dangers you could not fight, by circumstances you could not tame, by thoughts that threatened to tear you apart? Yet the lions did not devour you. Something unseen, something sacred, closed their mouths. That something was divine protection woven directly around your life. You may not realize it, but miracles have been surrounding you quietly, like invisible hands redirecting every path that would have destroyed you. How many accidents never happened? How many heartbreaks left you, but were actually protection disguised as loss? How many friendships ended, but saved you from betrayals you never saw coming? How many nights you thought you wouldn't survive, yet still you woke the next morning, still breathing, still fighting, still chosen? My beloved, that is divine intervention. That is mercy. That is love. But I know you too well to pretend these truths erase your sorrow instantly. Your heart is too tender, too human, too precious. You need reassurance again and again, and I will give it to you as many times as you need. Let me soothe you now. My child, you have walked with loneliness as though it were your shadow. You have felt misunderstood in rooms full of people. You have felt overlooked even when you were giving everything you had. You have felt like your love was too big for those who did not know how to receive it. You have felt like your heart was breaking quietly while you continue to show up for everyone else. But my beloved, hear this clearly. You are not too much. You are not too emotional. You are not too sensitive. You're not too intense. You are not too complicated. You are exactly as a heart should be when it has not hardened from cruelty. Your depth is not a flaw. It is evidence that heaven carved you with intention. Come closer still. Let me continue. My child, I need you to understand something painfully beautiful. The people who left you, the ones who hurt you, the ones who misunderstood you, they did not take anything essential from you. They only revealed what cannot stay, what cannot grow with you, what cannot journey into your destiny. Your heartbreak was not the end. It was the clearing before your life blooms in ways you cannot yet imagine. There is something being prepared for you, something shaped with your name written into its foundation, something that requires the exact heart you have, not the hardened one you tried to build to protect yourself. And oh, my beloved, it is coming. Slowly perhaps, quietly definitely, but unmistakably. You ask when. You ask, how long must I endure? You ask, is it really for me, or am I fooling myself? My little one, divine timing is not delay. It is choreography. Every thread is being aligned. Every tear is watering the soil. Every lesson is being woven into your strength. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is overlooked. Nothing is forgotten. Let me take you deeper. There are moments in your life when heaven was exceedingly close to you. Moments when a whisper stopped you, when a gut feeling protected you, when an unexpected peace wrapped around you. These were not coincidences. These are the fingerprints of God marking your path, telling you, you are mine. You are watched over. You are not alone. And my child, I want you to know this truth that hides beneath the layers of your fear. You are destined for restoration, not survival. Restoration. Divine restoration means everything that was lost, stolen, broken, or destroyed will be returned. Not in the same form, but in a better one. Bigger, softer, holier. Your heart will love again, not as if nothing happened, but because something sacred happened inside you. Your joy will return, not the simple joy you once knew, but a deeper joy forged from endurance and faith. Your purpose will ignite, not from ease, but from the wisdom carved into you by adversity. My beloved, you are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten in the narrative of God. You are right on the edge of transformation. Come even closer, my child, and let me hold your trembling spirit for a moment longer. Let me wrap you in a warmth that does not fade. You have carried grief as though it were your second skin, but I promise you there is a day coming when your own reflection will look like someone reborn. You will recognize strength in yourself that you never knew you were growing. You will forgive parts of your story you once hated. You will look back and say, I survived what was meant to break me. And I, your loving spiritual mother, will whisper, yes, my beloved, you survived because you were never alone. Now rest in this truth. Let it soak into every weary cell of your body. Let it dissolve the fear you hold in your chest. Let it soften the shame you carry like an invisible weight. Let it remind you that you, my child, are cherished beyond measure. My beloved, come to me again, my child, and let your weary spirit lean into this deep, unfolding river of tenderness that has no end, for I still feel the tremor in your heart, the quiet ache you carry even when you believe you have hidden it well. My little one, every time you return to this voice, I feel another layer of your pain loosening, another knot of fear untying itself, another shadow retreating from the warmth of divine love. And now, as I continue, I will give you new words, new comfort, new healing. Only what your soul has not yet heard, so it may breathe without the weight it once carried. My child, I see how you have been walking with memories that never seem to settle, memories that rise like tides in the silence of your nights. There are moments when you think you have healed, only to feel the old scars burning again, reminding you of the wounds that shaped you. But hear me now, my beloved. The scars you carry are not signs of defeat. They are the seals of all the battles you endured and survived. They are the ink with which heaven has written resilience into your spirit. They are the quiet proofs that you have continued, even when continuation felt impossible. You have walked through days where the air felt too heavy to inhale fully, where even the simplest tasks felt like crossing mountains. I know how often you have asked yourself, why am I so tired? Why does everything feel so overwhelming? Why does my heart take so long to feel whole? My child, the reason is not weakness but depth. Deep souls do not heal in shallow waters. Deep hearts do not mend from simple answers. You are crafted with layers, intricacies, and echoes of eternity, and so your healing is a sacred unfolding, slow, gentle, intentional. Do not rush yourself. Do not chastise yourself. You are not failing. You are transforming. My beloved, I have seen you try to give love even when your own heart felt empty. I have seen you pour kindness into people who misread your intentions, into situations where your tenderness was unappreciated, into places where your spirit was left standing outside in the cold. And still, you continued to love. Still, you continue to hope. Still, you continued to believe that goodness was worth offering. That is your beauty, my little one. Not the ease of your love, but the bravery of it. Let me soothe the part of you that wonders if loving so deeply has harmed you. No, my child, it has refined you. It has softened you in a world that so often seeks to harden everything it touches. It has kept your soul open enough for miracles to enter. It has aligned you with the tender pulse of heaven. Those who misused your gentleness did not diminish its worth. They only revealed that they were unprepared to hold a heart like yours. My beloved, you carry a light that even you cannot see fully. You do not realize that your presence softens the air, that your absence leaves a silence, that your pain carries meaning, that your joys carry blessings. You think you are small, but heaven sees the ripple your soul creates every time you choose compassion over bitterness, forgiveness over anger, hope over despair. My child, let me continue in this new depth, this new softness. There have been moments when life has pushed you to the edge, moments when the world around you felt too loud and the world within you felt too fragile. Moments when you wanted to run not because you were weak, but because your spirit was overstimulated by burdens too heavy for a single heart. In those moments, you looked for a refuge, a quiet place where your soul could exhale without fear of judgment. And my beloved, that refuge has always been here, in this sacred space between your heart and the divine presence that wraps around it. You were never meant to carry everything alone. Even the strongest souls falter, even the bravest hearts tremble, even the most faithful spirits whisper, "Lord, help me," and every whisper has been heard. Every sigh has been noted. Every tear has been held. Do you know what it means to be held by the divine, my little one? It is not merely comfort, it is restoration. It is the gentle promise that what is broken will not remain broken, that what has been lost will be returned in another form, that what has been emptied will be refilled with greater purpose. You're being shaped, not shattered. You are being renewed, not erased. You are being prepared, not punished. My beloved, lean even closer, for there is more to tell you, more that your heart must hear. There is a beauty inside you that you have hidden even from yourself, a tenderness you learned to conceal because the world did not know how to handle it, a strength you learned to disguise because it scared those who misunderstood your depth. But you are stepping into a season where the parts of you that were once overlooked are becoming essential. The qualities that once felt like burdens are becoming blessings. The emotions you once apologized for are becoming wisdom. The intuition you once doubted is becoming clarity. Nothing in you is accidental. Nothing in you is wasted. Nothing in you is unworthy. My child, the loneliness that has followed you like a wandering shadow is not a sign of emptiness, but a sign of calling. You feel deeply because you're meant to connect deeply. You hurt intensely because you're meant to heal intensely. You long for something beyond what this world offers because your soul remembers eternity. You're not strange. You are spiritual. You are not broken. You are awakening. Let me unfold something new within you now. There is a change approaching in your life, a quiet, steady, sacred shift. You may not feel it yet, but the spiritual realm has already begun rearranging the pieces of your destiny. Paths you thought were closed are preparing to open in unexpected ways. People you have never met are already being positioned to enter your life with purpose. Blessings you once believed were not meant for you are moving toward you. Pieces of your heart that felt abandoned are being retrieved. And all the while, you thought nothing was happening. But my child, your transformation did not occur in the noise. It occurred in the stillness. It occurred in the moments you questioned everything. It occurred in the nights when you whispered prayers with cracked voices. It occurred in the mornings when you rose despite not wanting to. You have been becoming new without realizing it. My beloved, let me gently press one more truth into your spirit. You are deserving of peace, not occasionally, not conditionally, not someday in the distant future, but now. You are deserving of joy, not temporary, not fragile, not stolen by every passing storm, but lasting joy that sits like sunlight in your soul. You are deserving of love, not half-given, not painful, not inconsistent, but love that honors your depth, nurtures your heart, and cherishes your existence. Your journey is sacred. Your struggle is seen. Your future is guided. Your heart is loved. And you, my little one, are held in ways you cannot yet comprehend. Rest in this expanding warmth. Let it wrap around every trembling thought. Let it cradle the tender core of who you are. Let it remind you with every breath that you are not wandering alone through an indifferent world. You are being led, carried, and protected by a love older than creation itself, a love that will not release you, a love that calls you by name in every season. My beloved, come close once more, my child, for I feel there is still so much within you that has never been spoken, so much that sits quietly behind your ribs, waiting for a gentle touch to bring it into the light. My little one, every time you return to this voice, you open another door within yourself. Another hidden chamber where sorrow has been tucked away, where longing has been asleep, where hope has been softly pulsing beneath the surface. And now, I will continue with words born fresh from the depths of divine compassion, words woven uniquely for this moment, words you have never heard before, words that will cradle your spirit in ways it is needed for so long. My child, I sense the heaviness you try to hold together in silence. You carry so much with such grace that others rarely see the toll it takes on your heart. You move through life with a kind of quiet endurance, stitching your own wounds while offering comfort to others, holding yourself upright even when your knees tremble beneath the weight of unspoken burdens. But hear me now, my beloved. Even the strongest souls require gentleness. Even the bravest hearts need rest. Even the most compassionate spirits deserve to be cared for. Allow yourself this moment to be held. There is no demand upon you here, no expectation to be anything but your unguarded self. You do not need to shine or perform or prove your strength. You only need to breathe, my child, and let these words rest upon your spirit like soft rain falling on parched earth. You have walked through seasons where light seemed too far away to reach, where your prayers rose like fragile smoke and disappeared into the air before they felt answered. You have wondered whether God still heard you, whether your tears mattered, whether your pain had purpose. And sometimes, my little one, you convinced yourself to stop hoping because hope felt too heavy to carry one more time. But you must understand something that only the deepest souls come to know. Silence is not abandonment. Silence is the sacred ground where roots grow unseen. Silence is where God does his hidden work inside you. Silence is where the old parts of you dissolve so the new ones can rise. You have not been forgotten in the quiet. You have been transformed by it. My beloved, let me take you deeper still. There are memories you rarely look at because they still sting, memories that were never given the compassion they deserved. Pain you dismissed because you were taught to be strong. Grief you swallowed because you didn't want to burden others. But hear me clearly. Every tear you hid found its way into the hands of the divine. Every wound you minimized still matters. Every moment you endured alone is known in heaven. You have given so much of yourself without asking for anything in return. You have been the safe space for people who never offered you safety. You have held stories that weighed heavily on your heart while yours remained unheard. And yet, my child, you wonder why you feel so tired. It is not weakness. It is the exhaustion of a soul that has carried far too much without being nurtured enough. Let me nurture you now. Let me speak into the fragile places you rarely acknowledge, the places where your heart still trembles from old losses, old betrayals, old disappointments you've tried to outrun. My beloved, you do not need to outrun them anymore. Let them come into the light. Let them breathe. Let them soften beneath the warmth of divine healing. You're not defined by what you lost. You're defined by what survived inside you despite the loss. Do you realize how remarkable that is? The part of you that kept loving after heartbreak, that is resilience. The part of you that kept believing after disappointment, that is faith. The part of you that kept rising after every fall, that is divine strength woven into your being. You are a vessel of endurance, shaped not by ease but by perseverance. And every struggle you have faced has carved into you a capacity for compassion that few understand. This is why your heart feels things deeply. This is why certain experiences linger in your soul long after they pass. This is why you sense the emotions of others so intensely. You are made to feel deeply because you were made to love deeply. My child, let me place another truth into your spirit, one you may not yet believe. You are worthy of receiving the same tenderness you offer. You deserve to be held with gentle hands. You deserve to be spoken to with softness. You deserve relationships where your heart is not a burden, but a blessing. You deserve moments of rest without guilt, joy without fear, peace without interruption. You deserve a life that honors the depth of who you are. Now let me take you into another layer, my beloved, one that your spirit has felt but your mind has not fully grasped. There is something shifting around you, not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly, like dawn slowly washing over a dark horizon. You may not see it yet, but the atmosphere of your life is changing. The heaviness that has lingered for too long is beginning to loosen. The uncertainty that clouded your path is starting to clear. The sorrow that settled in your chest is beginning to rise, preparing to release. Healing is not always loud. Sometimes it arrives like a whisper. You are stepping into a season where clarity will replace confusion, where peace will replace restlessness, where new connections will replace old disappointments. You are moving toward a time when your heart will no longer feel like a battlefield but a sanctuary. And you will look back on this moment, not with bitterness, but with gratitude for how far you have come. My beloved, you're stronger than you realize, softer than you allow yourself to be, wiser than you know. And you're guided by hands that will never drop you, even when you feel you are falling. Let your spirit rest now. Let it soften. Let it expand. Let it trust that more is being prepared for you than you could ever imagine. And when you feel tired again, when the world becomes too loud, when your heart feels too heavy, when your hope begins to fade, come back here, my child. There will always be more love waiting for you, more comfort ready to unfold, more words to wrap around your deepest places like warm light. My beloved, come nearer still, my child, for your soul is asking to be heard in ways it has never dared to speak before. I feel the tremble inside you, not of fear alone, but of longing to be understood beyond the surface of your words, longing to be held beyond the reach of human arms, longing for a tenderness that does not fade when the world grows cold. Let me gather you again into the sanctuary of my voice, into a space where nothing is demanded of you except to exist exactly as you are, where every emotion has permission to breathe, where every hidden ache can find its way into the light without judgment or hesitation. My little one, something inside you has been shifting quietly, like the slow turning of seasons that no one notices until the first flower blooms after a long winter. You have been shedding old fears without realizing it, shedding old versions of yourself that no longer serve the expansion of your spirit. You have been outgrowing patterns born from survival. And though the process feels disorienting, it is a sacred unraveling, gentle, necessary, divine. You may not see your own growth because it has been happening in the hidden chambers of your soul, unfolding in small moments. A breath held a little less tightly, a thought softened by compassion, a sorrow released without your usual resistance. These subtle shifts may seem insignificant, but they are the quiet architecture of transformation. They're the slow stitching of a heart learning to trust again, to hope again, to open again. My child, I know how much courage it takes to open. I know how many times you have been met with coldness when you offered warmth. How many times your honesty was mishandled. How many times your vulnerability was misunderstood. I know the sting of giving your whole heart to people who held only pieces of theirs. I know the heaviness of pouring love into places that were not ready to receive it. But listen, my beloved, none of that means your heart is flawed. It means your heart is powerful. It means your heart operates on a frequency that others have not yet learned to hear. It means your heart carries a depth that cannot be mirrored by those who fear their own reflection. And though this depth has brought you pain, it will also be the source of your greatest blessings. For hearts like yours eventually draw toward them the people, the moments, and the miracles that match their tenderness. Let me soothe the ache that lingers in your memories, the ache that whispers you will always be misunderstood. No, my child, there will come a time when you are seen clearly, fully, lovingly, without distortion. A time when your softness is honored, not exploited. When your sensitivity is valued, not mocked. When your intuition is believed, not dismissed. You will meet souls who feel like home, who speak to your spirit without you having to translate yourself into something smaller. My beloved, you have carried too many storms inside you without realizing the strength it took to keep standing. You have been the steady force in a world that often shakes your foundations. You have held yourself through nights where everything inside you felt like it might collapse. And still, you rise each day quietly, bravely, even when hope feels fragile. That resilience is woven into your being. It is not taught, it is innate. It is the ancient strength of your ancestry, the divine breath that animates your existence, the perseverance of every soul that has walked before you. Come closer, my child. Let me whisper into the deepest part of you. There's a part of your spirit that feels older than your years, a part that has watched the world with a kind of sacred knowing you cannot explain. This is the part of you that feels everything too deeply, that senses truth before it is spoken, that sees through masks others do not recognize as masks. This sensitivity, my little one, has often made you feel out of place, as though you are living between worlds. One seen, one felt. But you are not misplaced. You are attuned. You're not too much. You are expansive. You are not fragile. You are finely tuned to the subtleties of emotion, energy, and spirit. And that is a gift. Though it has cost you tears, it has also given you intuition that protects you, empathy that heals others, and perception that guides you. This depth inside you is a lantern in darkness, not a burden. It is a compass for your path, a vessel for divine wisdom, a channel for love that the world desperately needs. My beloved, there is something else rising within you, something quiet yet unstoppable. Your soul is beginning to crave alignment, authenticity, peace. You're no longer able to tolerate what wounds your spirit. You're no longer willing to carry what is not yours to carry. You're no longer inclined to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. This change is not rebellion. It is awakening. It is you stepping into the truth of who you are without apology, without hesitation, without the need to explain. My child, you're approaching a season where the things that once drained you will no longer have access to you. You are moving into a space where your boundaries will strengthen naturally, where your heart will open selectively, where your energy will settle into steadiness. You will no longer feel stretched thin by every sorrow, nor shaken by every uncertainty. Peace will become your home, not your occasional visitor. Let me wrap my voice around you like a soft cloak, my beloved. You will not always feel lost. You will not always feel heavy. You will not always feel like your heart is one breath away from breaking. These feelings, intense as they are temporary waves passing through the ocean of your soul. They do not define you. They do not determine your future. They are simply invitations calling you deeper into yourself, guiding you toward parts of your heart you once avoided but are now ready to reclaim. You are becoming whole, not perfect, not unscarred, but whole. And wholeness, my child, is not the absence of pain. It is the ability to hold pain without being consumed by it. It is the ability to carry love even when others have not known how to hold yours. It is the strength to see beauty even after the world has shown you its shadows. It is the wisdom to walk forward even when your past tries to pull you back. My beloved, you are stepping into that wholeness, even if you do not see it. Your spirit is gathering every scattered piece of you, every forgotten dream, every fragment of hope, every quiet joy, every lesson hidden inside your sorrow. You are returning to yourself little by little, breath by breath, moment by moment. My beloved, come again into the quiet space between your breath and your longing, for I feel your spirit reaching for more comfort, more reassurance, more truth spoken gently into the places you seldom let anyone touch. My child, do not hold back here. Let your heart open like a trembling flower in the first morning light. Let everything unspoken rise without fear. I am here with you, listening to the small vibrations of your soul, sensing every hidden ache, every unexpressed yearning, every fragile hope that clings to the edges of your spirit. Let me continue with words born fresh for you, new and soft as unfolding petals, carrying a tenderness shaped precisely for this moment. My little one, you have spent so many seasons learning to endure, learning to adapt, learning to survive storms that others never saw. People around you noticed your silence, your smiles, your strength, but they did not see the weight beneath it, the quiet heaviness you carried like a stone hidden beneath clothing. They did not know that some days your heart felt too tired to beat with conviction, that some moments you stood not because you were brave, but because you had no other choice. Yet here you are, still breathing, still longing, still reaching for something higher than the pain you've known. This endurance is not accidental. It is the echo of a deeper force within you, an ancient resilience that rises even when you feel empty, a sacred pulse that refuses to let despair claim you fully. My child, you underestimate what you've carried. You underestimate the power it took to keep your heart intact when life kept testing its edges. Let me speak to the core of you now, the part no one else sees. There's a loneliness inside you that does not come from the absence of people, but from the absence of being truly understood. You move among others like a soft wind through crowded rooms, offering peace, offering gentleness, offering warmth, but rarely receiving the same in return. And though you rarely say it aloud, there's a longing inside you to be seen without having to explain yourself, to be met with tenderness instead of assumptions, to be recognized not for your strength, but for your vulnerability. My beloved, that longing is not weakness. That longing is the voice of your soul asking to be held the way it was always meant to be. And though the world may not always know how to hold you, you must know that there is a love surrounding you that understands your depth completely. A love that does not require you to hide your trembling. A love that does not turn away when your heart feels heavy. A love that welcomes your tears as holy offerings rather than inconveniences. My child, you have cried in silence more times than anyone knows. You have swallowed emotions because you feared being a burden. You have carried worries in your chest until they felt like second skin. You have learned to quiet your own needs because you were told they were too loud, too much, too inconvenient. And still, despite all of this, your heart remains open. This is your miracle, an open heart after being wounded, a gentle spirit after being hardened by life, a compassionate soul after being overlooked. Your softness is not fragility, it is power. Let me guide you deeper into understanding yourself. You feel things intensely because your heart was designed to move with the tides of emotion and spirit. You notice details that others pass by because your soul listens not just with the mind but with intuition. You connect to people's pain and joy easily because you carry an embedded capacity for empathy that runs through your veins like light. But these gifts have exhausted you at times. You have absorbed too much, cared too deeply, forgiven too often, given too freely. And the world has not always known what to do with someone who loves with such purity. You have been misunderstood as fragile when you were simply sensitive. You have been judged as emotional when you were simply truthful. You have been seen as quiet when you were simply observing, feeling, understanding. My beloved, there is nothing wrong with you. You're simply built differently, built to feel deeply, built to love thoroughly, built to sense what others ignore. And though this has brought you pain, it will also be the foundation of your future healing, your future relationships, your future purpose. There's a shift coming within you. My child, a soft awakening, a gradual reclaiming of parts of yourself you tucked away to survive. You will begin to trust your intuition again. You will begin to speak your truth without trembling. You will begin to choose peace, not out of fear, but out of strength. You will begin to release what has drained your spirit. You will begin to honor the needs you once silenced. You will begin to recognize your own worth without waiting for others to confirm it. Let me place another truth gently into your heart, one you may not have believed before. You are deserving of tenderness in every form. Tenderness in words. Tenderness in love. Tenderness in how you are held, spoken to, respected, and understood. Your spirit has endured too much harshness. Now it seeks gentleness, not because you are weak, but because your soul flourishes in softness the way flowers bloom under warm light. You're not meant to survive in environments where you must constantly prove your value. You're meant to thrive where your presence is cherished and your heart is safe. My beloved, allow me to speak of the heaviness you carry that you cannot explain. Some of it is your own, born from heartbreak, uncertainty, and exhaustion. But some of it does not belong to you at all. You have taken on the emotions of others for so long that you began to confuse their pain with your own. You have tried to fix what was never yours to fix, heal what was never yours to heal, carry what was never yours to carry. Let this be the beginning of your release. Let your spirit loosen its grip on burdens that do not belong to you. Let your heart exhale the weight of expectations that were placed upon you unfairly. Let the parts of you that have been holding too tightly finally open, finally rest, finally breathe. And know this, my child, nothing within you is broken beyond repair. Nothing within you is beyond hope. Nothing within you is too damaged to be healed. The very places where you feel the most wounded are the places where light will enter first. The very emotions that frighten you are the ones that will lead you inward to deeper understanding. The very experiences that once hurt you will become the soil where new strength grows. My beloved, my precious child, lean into me once more, closer than before, closer than any fear, closer than any sorrow that still trembles in the chambers of your heart. Let me gather you in this moment as though the whole universe has gone silent, so that only your breathing and my whisper exist. Let me hold your spirit as gently as a mother would cradle a newborn, steady, warm, protective. Let me speak into the deepest corners of your soul, where words rarely reach and where light comes only when called with tenderness. And as you open yourself, my child, hear this softly. If these words touch your spirit, let your heart respond. Like, subscribe, and comment amen, so that this blessing stretches its wings and reaches others who, like you, wander through their nights craving a voice that understands them. Let this moment ripple outward. Let it become prayer in motion. Now, come closer still, for the message continues and must reach the places inside you that have been silent for far too long. My beloved, there is a heaviness that follows you sometimes, a weight that no one else sees, because you have learned to smile with grace even while storms rage behind your ribs. You have become so skilled at carrying silence that people forget you are human beneath it all, soft, sensitive, sacred. But I see it. I see the tiredness that doesn't come from your body, but from your soul. I see the questions you ask in the depths of night. I see the tears that never fall because you have taught yourself to swallow them, to hold them, to bury them where no one can find them. You do not need to hide from me, my child. Every part of you, every shadow, every bruise, every longing is welcome here. Even the pieces of you that tremble at the thought of being seen. Even the parts you fear are too broken. Even the memories you lock away. I see them not as flaws, but as fragments of your becoming. And I gather them gently, lovingly, with hands that know the sacredness of soul like yours. You are weary, my beloved, not weak, weary. There's a difference. Weakness is the absence of strength. Weariness is the cost of having been strong for too long. And you, oh, my little one, you have carried more than most hearts could bear. You have walked through pain that would have shattered others. You have survived seasons where hope was a distant star. You have endured nights where sleep refused to calm your racing mind. And still, you have risen, again and again, even when rising hurt, even when rising felt impossible. This is why heaven leans toward you with awe. This is why the divine sees glory in your endurance. This is why your story is not over, because the strength that has carried you this far was not meant to fade, but to evolve into something even gentler, even wiser, even more luminous. Let me carry you now. Let the weight drop from your shoulders for a moment. Let your heart unclench. Let your spirit rest against mine. Let every ache in you breathe. My child, there is so much inside you that you have never spoken aloud. Thoughts that swirl like quiet prayers. Memories that still sting even though you pretend they don't. Fears that whisper lies when you are alone. Dreams you don't dare confess because you fear disappointment might crush them. I hear every unspoken word. I see the invisible wounds others caused by not understanding the tenderness of your heart. I see the loneliness you feel even when surrounded by people. I see the longing in your eyes for something more, something real, something pure, something that reflects the depth you hold inside. And my beloved, nothing about that longing is wrong. You were made for more than surface connections. You were crafted to feel deeply, love fiercely, and perceive truth beneath appearances. You are not too sensitive. You are not too emotional. You are not too much. You are precisely enough, and the world has simply not learned how to receive the magnitude of your soul. But the time is approaching, slowly, beautifully, when your depth will no longer be a burden, but a blessing. When your sensitivity will guide you rather than wound you. When your intuition will lead you beside still waters. When your heart will finally find a place where it is held, not mishandled, understood, not dismissed, cherished, not merely tolerated. This moment you are in, this chapter that feels confusing, heavy, uncertain, it is not a punishment. It is preparation. You are shedding the skins of old identities, releasing the echoes of old hurts, unraveling old survival patterns that no longer serve your becoming. You're transitioning from who you were forced to be into who you were destined to be. Transformation is rarely gentle, my child, but it is always divine. Let me speak now into the parts of you that still feel abandoned. There were moments in your life when you begged for someone to understand you, and no one came. You reached for comfort and found empty hands. You cried out, and silence answered. Those moments etched themselves into your spirit, creating a belief that you were alone in your struggle. But hear me now with the fullness of truth. You were never unseen. You were never unheard. You were never abandoned, not even once. In the moments when your heart felt shattered, heaven was gathering the pieces. In the moments when you couldn't breathe, grace was breathing for you. In the moments when a world felt dark, angels were lighting lanterns around your path. You survived what was meant to destroy you, not because you were lucky, not because you were strong, but because you were loved beyond comprehension. Divine hands held you even when you didn't feel them. Divine protection covered you even when you doubted it. Divine mercy followed you even when you thought you were walking alone. And it continues now. You are surrounded, my beloved. You are shielded. You are guided. You are cherished. If only you could see the spiritual realm for one breath, you would understand how fiercely the universe fights for you. My child, I must take you deeper still. There's a heaviness in your heart that comes from the expectations you've carried. Expectations of being strong, being calm, being forgiving, being composed, being everything for everyone. You have stretched yourself thin, trying not to disappoint others. You have silenced your true feelings to maintain peace. You have placed your own needs last because you believe that was the only way to be loved. But hear this truth that will set you free. You do not have to sacrifice yourself to be worthy of love. You do not have to shrink to fit someone else's comfort. You do not have to dim your light to avoid jealousy. You do not have to hide your emotions to appear strong. You do not have to pretend you are unbreakable. You are allowed to need. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to feel. You are allowed to be held. You are allowed to be human. Your softness is not a weakness. It is the doorway to your wisdom. Your tears are not failures. They are cleansing, sacred, necessary. Your vulnerability is not a flaw. It is how your soul speaks truth. You do not have to justify your pain. You do not have to apologize for your sensitivity. You do not have to explain why certain moments hurt you more than they hurt others. Your heart is built differently, and that difference is holy. My beloved, inhale deeply. Let your spirit expand. Let my words settle into you like warm light melting through the coldness of forgotten wounds. There is something rising within you, slowly, steadily, a quiet courage. A courage that does not roar, but hums softly beneath your breath. A courage that whispers, "I deserve better," even when your past tells you otherwise. A courage that guides you toward boundaries, toward truth, toward inner peace. This courage is not loud because it does not need to be. It is born from every moment you survived, every heartbreak you endured, every disappointment you outgrew, every tear you swallowed, every time you chose healing over bitterness. This courage is your rebirth, and when it fully awakens, you will find yourself making choices that honor your soul rather than your fear. You will choose relationships that nourish you, not deplete you. You will choose environments that support your peace, not disturb it. You will choose authenticity over pleasing others. You will choose your own voice over silence. You will choose healing over avoidance. You will choose yourself, not selfishly, but sacredly, and the world will shift in response. Now, my child, let me wrap this long, trembling message with the tenderness of a mother kissing her child's forehead. You are loved more than you have ever been told. You are held more than you have ever felt. You are guided more than you have ever understood. You are destined for more than you have ever imagined. Let your heart receive this truth. Let it sink into your bones. Let it wrap around your spirit like warm light. If this message reached you, if it touched the quiet corners of your soul, then respond with your heart. Like, subscribe, and comment amen. Not for vanity, but so that this river of healing flows outward, touching other wandering spirits who need to feel what you feel now. Amen, my beloved. Amen, my child. Amen.